In this video, I'm gonna build LEGO spaceships based off some of the most popular Pokemon, with each spaceship getting better than the last. Before we get started, we need someone to fly the ships, and who's better than Ash himself. To build him, I used this cool dual-molded hat piece, a blue jacket torso piece with these arms from the LEGO Fast and Furious set, and these cool navy blue and light blue legs to represent his pants and shoes. Since Ash is the pilot, I think it's pretty clear that the first ship I should start with is based off of his first Pokemon, Pikachu. I started off by making his cockpit using this circular glass piece. I wanted the cockpit to be slightly angled, so I added these hinge pieces so I could clip it on later. I even added these red tile pieces to match his cheeks. And of course I added his iconic big ears using these curved black slopes and inverted slopes with a hinge on the bottom. I wanted to keep the middle area of the ship pretty round, so I used these snout pieces to build on both sides and added these slope pieces. This is a spaceship, so I obviously had to add thrusters. Using these snout pieces and these yellow curve pieces, I was able to get a pretty nice shape, and I added a blue stud on the inside to match Pikachu's lighting. I made another one of these thrusters and slapped both of them on each side of the ship. To make this ship look even crazier, I wanted to add one giant thruster in the back. I used this octagon piece with a lot of hinges on it, and added a big gray dish piece on top of it with a trans blue curve piece to show the thrusters activated. To add more shape, I clipped on a bunch of these curved segments that I made in yellow and black, which finishes off our first ship. I'm really happy that I was able to get most of Pikachu's features into the ship. I do wish I was able to get his iconic lightning ball tail in, but I couldn't find a way to get it to fit in with the rest of the ship. But I'm still very happy with how the shaping for this one turned out. Next up, we have probably one of my favorite Pokemon in this video, Blastoise. For him, I wanted to start off by making his iconic shell, with the Blastoise coming off from the top. I started off by using these curved black pieces to get a good idea of how the shape was going to be. Blastoise also has a white outline around his shell, which was pretty convenient because I had two of these white curved pieces laying around that fit perfectly onto the back of the shell. To get the scales on his shell, I stole these brown circle tiles from this LEGO flower set, and was even able to squeeze in an extra tile in the middle of the shell, which I'm not sure is legal or not. Moving on to the actual blasters, I used this LEGO dish piece, added this Technic barrel, and finished it off by adding this cool piece that I don't really know what to call. I made another one and clipped them on by using these LEGO studs with bars on them. I wanted the shell to be at an angle, so I used this hinge piece, which did a good job, but it did leave a big gap on the sides. Luckily, I had these big light blue slope pieces that barely fit in, but did the perfect job at hiding the gap and adding shape on the back. I continued this curve shape forward using these slope pieces and some snout pieces up until the cockpit area. This glass piece reminded me a lot of his shell, so I decided to use it up front. I filled in the side by using more slope pieces and some tan plates because Blastoise's stomach is tan and I wanted to get some of that color in. But the ship still needs a lot more shape, so to do that, I built these thruster thingies using the snout brick, gray slope pieces, and some grills. I had a lot of these light blue half circle pieces, so I added them to the side, which helped the ship with the rounded shape and added a curved part that extended further out, making it look cooler. To finish the ship, I built this cool engine blaster thingy up front, which really made the ship actually look like a spaceship. I know that the ship is pretty small, but I'm still very happy that I was able to make it, especially with the lack of this light blue color. Not to mention that the shell on the back with the blasters on it just looks awesome. The next Pokemon will probably surprise you guys, because it's Charizard. I know you guys probably thought that he would be at the end of the video, but I just had a really cool idea for the final ship, so I saved it for last. Starting off with the back, Charizard is a fire type Pokemon, so I'm going to give him a giant thruster. I found two of these big LEGO gunmetal gray pieces from an old LEGO Bionicle set, and I thought that it would be great for the thruster shape. I just kind of built around them using snout pieces and slope pieces until I got a shape I liked. To make the thruster look even crazier, I filled it up with a ton of these LEGO fire pieces, which I think was a good idea because it made the ship look so cool. I kept the thruster shape going by using these orange slope pieces. This was also a good time to start building his wings. I started off by using these tan wedge plates to get a nice base. I used these orange barrels and added these white spike pieces with a black thruster in the middle, which made it look like Charizard's hand was holding a thruster. Using some snout pieces and slope pieces, I was able to attach it on, and I did the same for the other side. For the cockpit, I added these tan plates with orange tiles on top, so Ash could actually fit inside the ship. I sold this blue glass piece from this LEGO Ninjago set because I thought it did a good job at catching Charizard's blue eyes. I kept extending the orange up to the front of the ship with tiles and smooth pieces, but the side of the ship still looked pretty empty. Using these tan LEGO slope pieces and smooth pieces, I was able to get a pretty good shape for the bottom of the ship, which means that we're done with the ship. I'm surprised at how well the color scheme of the ship looks. I didn't expect it to look this good. So far, this ship is probably my favorite because of its shape, but this will probably change later. Now, before we move on to the final ship, I had an idea for a little bonus ship, which is going to be based off a Pokeball. I made a couple of these white segments and used these corner snout pieces to make a nice sphere shape. I couldn't do the same for the red half because I wanted to fit in this blue windshield piece, so I built around it and used these hinge pieces so the top could actually open. I even made sure to add little black lines and a button up front. Now, using these slope pieces, I added little wings, and I was even able to add little thrusters in the back by using these angled stud pieces. I honestly just made this ship as a joke, but I still really like it. It's silly and very cartoony, but I think that's exactly why I like it so much. But now it's finally time for our last ship, which is of course Venusaur. First things first, I knew I needed to get his big flower right. Venusaur has 6 flower petals, so I made 6 of these segments using these fuchsia curve pieces, which worked perfectly. I clipped them onto this hinge plate and got started on covering up the middle. Using a couple different circular pieces, I was able to make a nice part that covered up the middle pretty well. This flower also has a stump on the bottom, which I was able to make by using these brown barrel pieces, completing the flower. Putting that to the side, I found these cool turquoise pieces from the LEGO New Guardian ship, and I thought that they would work great for thrusters. I made these little segments so I could actually attach the thrusters on by using these ball joint pieces. Venusaur also has these big leaves that come out from under the flower, and I think these would look awesome as wings. Starting with the snout piece, I built around it with slope pieces until I got a nice shape, and then covered the rest of it up with small LEGO flower pieces. Now we can actually bring the flower piece back and see how it looks, and man, it looks amazing, but we still need to build a cockpit. I thought that this glass piece looked pretty nice and also looked the most like a leaf, so by using these hinge pieces, I attached it on. To make sure that Ash could fit, I added these wedge plates on the sides, so there was more headroom for him. But the ship is still missing something, so by using more wedge plates, I made this triangle shape and covered it up with more plates and leaves. Placing it on the side at an angle gave the ship such a nice shape and finished it off. This ship is definitely my favorite, and that is exactly why I saved it for the end of the video. There's just so much going on, but it all works so well together. Anyways, that's all for the video. Comment down below which ship was your favorite and if I should make more Pokemon spaceships. Also, subscribe.